It's your news time, 9:32. Good morning and welcome. Good to be with you once again. Good morning. I'm Mike McGarry with some special guests, as always. This is the Vibrant You program. And, of course, that means we are going to be talking with, Stephanie Parrish. I get so choked up, Stephanie, every time I get to talk to you. Right?
That's how I feel, too.
Stephanie is with us once again here today. She is, of course, founder and CEO of Vibrant You, Hyperbaric Oxygen and Light Center. Always good to be with you.
So good to be back. I'm glad you're here with us, Mike.
Well, thank you very much. She has a special guest. She's going to introduce her in just a couple of minutes here, but maybe you can kind of introduce, Stephanie, subject of our show today.
Absolutely. I'm so excited about this subject because, as you guys know, it's National Autism Month. So we are focusing on autism and what we've been able to do with autism, with cerebral palsy, with, again, heal the brain, heal the brain, heal the brain, right? That's what we've been talking about a lot about. So we're going to talk a little bit more about autism, and I've got a beautiful friend of mine, Luann, here that's going to talk about her experiences and her grandson's experience and some of the different things that have happened at Vibrant You with them.
Excellent. You talk about this is it seems to be becoming more predominant. I don't know that it is, but it seems that way. You hear about it all the time, and it is something obviously that it hits anybody, any family, anywhere, anytime, and so whatever we can do to help combat that, that's a great positive.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you said that because it seems like there isn't anybody that I know of or that I talk to that isn't affected by some type of autism on the spectrum, right?
Right.
Including myself. And it's funny that you would say that because I was just pulling the resources today, and it was saying 1 in 45 children in the United States are on the autism spectrum.
Wow.
One out of 45 kids. And that was saying an estimated 1 out of 42 boys. 1 out of 42 boys. Think about classrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 1 out of 189 girls are diagnosed with autism in the United States. And that boys are 4.5 times more likely than girls to have autism, even though I've been working with a number of girls with autism as well. And that is from the tacanow.org program that I was able to pull up and find those statistics. And a lot of people always hear about autism and they're like, okay, what is it? Everybody's got different levels of autism, different things. So one of the definitions that's from the International Hyperbaric Association is this, and I'll read it to you. And it's autism is a disorder characterized by deficits in social communication and by restricted repetitive patterns in behavior. So it's really interesting because everybody has all different ones, different levels, and people ask me all the time, well, how can hyperbaric help? How can what we do at Vibrant You help with autism? And with using the lights that we use and the different therapies, again, we've talked a lot about the Vibrant You difference and what that means for most people. And again, from the International Hyperbaric Association, I'm just going to read some of the things that hyperbaric has known to help with autism, or really anything. It's kind of funny because these are listed for autism, but it can help with everything in the body from head to toe. But what they have listed here is enhanced brain healing and repair with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. 1, it increases oxygen delivery to hypoxic tissues. 2, it reduces neuroinflammation. That's huge. Inflammation in the brain, right? That's what we have. Anything that's going on in the brain, correct? Moderate mitochondria dysfunction. Promotes neurogenesis. Stimulates cell proliferation and mobilization. Reduces seizure frequency. And activates neuroplasties. Those are just some of the things. Improves sensory and cognitive awareness. This is probably one of the things that I notice the most because I'm not a medical doctor. I don't do all the testing, but what I get to see is what happens in the clinic.
You see the results, don't you?
See the results. That it just makes me so happy. And the increased attention span and alertness. And these are some of the things that Luann's going to point out too, because these are some things that have been very, very prevalent in us and with her grandson, my grandson. We've had kids in there from 18 months old all the way up to 24 months that have been diagnosed on the spectrum. And we have seen just amazing results with everybody. It's funny because a lot of people don't realize it, but like with my grandson, we didn't tell his teachers what we were doing. We just brought him in, and he was 6 at the time. We put him in the chamber with his father, who was suffering from severe concussions. He was a big football player, severe concussions of all different kinds. And as he was, one of the tests that I had him do was color. And he was a great color. He loved to color, but he would color and kind of scribble using blacks and browns and the dark colors. And we started with him in the chamber, and I figured, this is my first shot with an autistic kid here. Let me work with my own grandson and see what we see with him. And as he was coloring, he probably did about 10 sessions, and he'd be in the chamber. And as one thing I'd noticed with his dad, who was very severe with concussions, sometimes with concussions, more often than not, people get very angry. Their anger issues really come out when they've had a traumatic brain injury. And he was very angry, and he was finally able to calm down and realize that the anger was very not important and it didn't matter, and he would just get angry for no reason. But my little grandson, we have the walkie-talkies in there, and he got on the walkie-talkie. He goes, "Grandma, I color better in here." And he's 6. He noticed that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so we started comparing, and he was using all different coloring and different shadowing, and by the time he got to about 25 sessions, he gets on the walkie and he says, "Grandma, I just feel better in here." And for a small child to get that and understand that, and we did start comparing his pictures, and from when he started and it was dark and scribbly and out of the lines to where about 25 sessions into his 40 sessions, he was coloring and shading and using bright, brilliant colors. And his teacher called me from the school because my daughter said, "You just have to call my mom." Let her explain it to you, right? So I got a call from the teacher, and she said, "I need to know what you're doing because he's a different child." And I said, "Well, tell me what you see." And she goes, "He's talking to the other kids. He's communicating with the kids. He's eye contact with me. He's lifting his head when he's talking." I mean, these were huge improvements for this little person, just getting oxygen and light, right? So that's just some of the things that we see. And I want Luann to take the time here and just tell a little bit about her experience, because I love this woman, and I love her grandson and her daughter and everybody that she brings in and sends in to us. And he's probably been one of the ones I brag about the most because of the things that I saw. And it's been a little while, and she even you kind of forget, right? You kind of forget what they were like at the beginning, right?
Right. Fortunately, we kept a journal.
Thank
and
goodness.
that helps to document everything. So we started in January 2017.
Wow.
And I hear you say heal the brain, but in autism, it's heal the gut.
Yeah.
You heal the brain.
Yep.
So I'm going to go further back in these notes. I would say had been going for about 6 weeks, and I have a note here that his school reported. So our little autistic guy is more severe and doesn't have communication skills. And I believe you said that when we started, he had about 6 words, and when we were done, he had about 35 words.
Exactly.
And when we were done, it was less than 3 months, right?
Exactly.
That we had gotten in our 40 sessions. But one day at school, they reported that he stood up, went into the potty, used the potty totally unprompted. Now that shows his gut healing. That's huge in ours. And I know there's a lot of parents out there that would love to hear that can happen.
That just gave me goosebumps.
That happened while we were doing it. I remember after we had been going, and I think we'd been 5, 6, 7 ones I've got written here, that this little guy that never talks, we were walking out of the place, and Will turned around to you and said, "See you later."
He did. About Florida,
I
right?
got that written down. Oh, we were just shocked. I've got written down there that more and more he got on a bus. He looked back at us. He wanted to see where we were. This is somebody that doesn't even register, but he started looking at things, and his awareness really started growing. I have several times here where he started saying goodbye, see you later. One time, see you later, alligator, which about blew us all over. Some of your people out there might enjoy this one the most. This is February 8th, so we couldn't have been doing it very long because I remember it was maybe a month at the most. But I've got here, Will slept solid, exclamation point. At least his mother's written that. Slept almost 10 hours, barely moved. That's huge. A lot of parents of autistic kids, their kids don't sleep.
Yeah.
We've been lucky. Our little guy does sleep from time to time, pretty good, but he'll get up a few times in the night. There are many times where you can't get him to sleep till 2 or 4 in the morning, and they sleep for an hour or two. I know people out there who are lucky to get little spurts of 10-minute naps during the night, and that's it.
Wow.
But I remember his sleep habits grew better than this, and I've got it documented out here. Another time, February 13th, he got out, put his shoes and socks on, totally by himself. This was a new thing that had happened. Seemed very aware of things tonight. Again, said goodbye to Stephanie as we left. Things like that. It was just quite exciting what was going on. He started doing things. He did also, on 2/22 I've written, he started getting fidgety.
Yeah.
Now, for some people, that would be like, oh, you don't want to hear that. But for a parent of an autistic child, we like it when they start, especially one that's considered severe.
Yeah.
We like it when they start fidgeting or maybe even have a little bit of aggression, because that means they are becoming more aware.
Yeah.
And that was very, very exciting. 2/24, good interactive play with his little buddies, and I probably shouldn't use their names. Making requests by himself, play more. This one was very exciting for me. We had started karate probably in the fall of the prior year, and he would just stand there, and we have a very good karate teacher. Can I say who that is?
Oh, absolutely.
Mark Wilson.
Shout out for Mark Wilson.
His karate place there over on Sunset was just amazing, the patience he had working individually with Will. And Will would just stand there for time and time again, and you'd wonder if it's worth it. 2/24, I wrote that he started karate, started jumping with both feet. His karate moves now are amazing, how he punches and kicks and so on. But the chamber really did seem to help that. So that was exciting.
I remember you coming and telling me that day when he was jumping. He was actually jumping.
Yeah, way too exciting. Do you want me gone?
Absolutely.
So I told you, one day we had 2/26. He started. We had a birthday party with a group of kids in the house. We had a cake and we started singing "Happy Birthday." Unbeknownst to us, he blurted out and started singing the entire song of "Happy Birthday." Got up towards someone else's cake and tried to blow out the candles.
That's such a big thing, because I remember so much when Will first started, he would just put his head down and he'd either stand behind you or stand behind his mom, and there was just no contact. There was nothing right there. And you'd stand on the vibration plate with him and he'd just keep his head down. And so the things that you're saying is really a wake up, right? It's
he was
just
very,
coming.
the word I used to want to put with it was lethargic.
Right.
And I've got written here, as a matter of fact, on 2/27, he had a lot of energy today. Stephanie reminded me of how calm and quiet he used to be, and how he was chomping at the bit now and always saying thank you and goodbye.
Yeah.
So, let's see, what else do I have here? Again, I told you that about the unprompted potty things.
Amazing.
Let's see. Oh, we had another thing that happened. This is on 3/28, so we did come for quite a while, I think.
You did.